Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in
Shade
the
in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl Treese.
It's Nels.
And today, y'all, we are here to get into the late episode. I apologize. Y'all know, bear with me. I'm going on vacation, y'all.
I was
Give
about to
me
say
credit.
it's partly my fault too.
But it is, but I wasn't gonna give it to her. You see, but I like her taking accountability. See, that's what therapy do. That's what therapy do. But we're here to get into the Love After Lockup. This is season 6, episode 8, Wife or Warden. So if you guys have not already, please make sure you hit that like button.
And a subscribe button.
And y'all, let's jump right into it. And yeah, y'all, it was what it was. Let's get shady. We start off with Will and Courtney. What a treat. All right. So Will and Courtney go through with this wedding and they exchange scrunchies. All right. They both seem genuinely happy. Courtney said she feels it's right and she's happy that she decided to marry Will. And they tell her mother that they're grateful she was there, but she's more concerned about making her flight. Okay. She said a time is a ticking. All right. So Will starts driving all crazy and reveals that he's flipped the car multiple times. So Courtney shares what she experience she went through, and reveals that she apparently she was with an ex, and she said that they went off an on ramp and or off ramp and onto the highway. She didn't have her seatbelt on, and so she ended up breaking her neck. And then the ex took off running, and left her for unalive.
Mm-hmm.
So
And they
Courtney,
showed the picture.
yeah, it was bad. It was bad, y'all. It was bad.
I was wondering about her
The
scar.
scar. I was wondering about the scar. I thought she just had a nasty jail fight, but nah. Because she cute. I thought she might have to fight her, to save her, so she didn't have to kitty click. So she admits that so Courtney feels blessed to be here. What'd you say?
I think she would have been into it.
She might have. So she admits that trust is a trigger for her in relationships after experiencing something so horrific. So her mom doesn't hesitate to remind her, yeah, but once you got better, your ass went back to the streets again. And I said, well, mama got a point. So Courtney apologizes and her mother says, well, she needs to learn from her mistakes, but I appreciate you apologizing. And so Courtney admits she's been terrible to her mother. And she gets emotional and they get emotional as they say their goodbyes because they're dropping her off at the airport. They made it. And her mom thinks that jail did change Courtney and admits she is happy to have Will by her side as she moves forward. Okay. And
So
so Will,
let me ask you something. Because
hmm,
I mean, I know we believe her and stuff, right? But sometimes the faces she be making don't make you feel like it's all an act. Like she's just
no, I
the act.
like Courtney.
I don't know. Sometimes
I gotta be advocate in this one. I like Courtney.
in all you mean. I, it's like I do believe her, but sometimes the faces she be making when he says certain stuff, it's like she like see the camera coming and she like, I don't I don't know.
Oh, not you don't trust Courtney.
I don't.
Not you having
I, I
trust
think
issues.
I am. I don't think I trust her like I used to.
So, but yeah, the mama's happy that Will's gonna be by her side moving forward. So Will has to return Courtney to the halfway house after getting married. So they don't even get to consummate the marriage. He tells her that, but he has a full day of surprises the next day. She wants to know surprises. He won't let her because it's a surprise. Okay. So but I think she's wondering, is it a freaky surprise? What are you gonna do? Because I think she's wondering about him. Okay. So when he returns to the hotel, he calls her and he's concerned because she did sound a little bit tipsy. Okay. She sounded a little off kilter. All right. And he lets her go, but says, I'm concerned she might return to her old ways and believes, she has some bad influences around that halfway house. And Will feels like, they may need to have a hard conversation. So when he goes to pick her up the next day, he's nervous about confronting her about the night before, but he brings up the fact that she sounded strange and speculates that she could have relapsed. And so Courtney doesn't understand where this line of questioning is coming from. And doesn't like the thought of her husband not trusting her. And so Will gets over it, but at the end of the day, he still thinks that she might have a problem, and he doesn't want to stay with an addict because he's a former addict, and his name is not Joey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Joey caught a stray in that one. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, Joey.
Next up is Quiana and Damoderick.
Damoderick. No, not ain't no N on it. It's Damoderick.
I definitely got an N on
mine. No, it's Damoderick. Like it's Damo. Drink.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Change the picture.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am not on the job. I am not on a job.
Look, you in a job. Look, you was on a job to turn your camera off.
Yeah.
All right. So he said that he's enjoying his time with Quiana, but has been secretly talking to Joella. Boy, it ain't no secret. We know.
We know. We know. We know. We know. We know.
So I actually thought about you, Trace, in this scene. They decided to go on a date to do some cake decorating.
Oh yeah, that was cute.
This is just kind of one of those things that like doesn't make any sense to me to go pay for when you can literally do it yourself.
See, it's you and them damn savings. You and them damn savings. It's an experience.
It just needs to make sense.
Well, you know what? They ain't even have no wine. So I will say that. At least give me a drink if I'm going to bake the cake and do all that.
I can have cake, icing, and decorations and wine all at my house. Why?
But I'm not a baker. So for me, I need you to do the cake and even the frosting. You saw what happened with the paint and sip. Literally, the artist had to come help me.
I showed you what I did with Ari's cake. It's really not that hard. While decorating, basically she let him know that they need to work on their trust because she feels like they took a step back. And he knows it's his fault that, I don't feel like that means that he gonna stop. He just he just knows where the blame should go. She said,
talking about playing in your face. This is a man that played in her face.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
This is what I don't want. Now, this is literally just a shut up ring.
This will end you up on Snapped. Okay. They will be on a totally different show. She will be the one in Clank Clank. Okay. So she said for her, it brings back stuff from the past when he cheated. And he said things have changed. Back then, he didn't want to respect nothing. And now that they're older, he's too old for that. He ain't trying to do too much. And he said he ain't trying to play no games. So after the cake decorating class, Damoderick opened up his cake box with the ring in it. And of course, she was super shocked. She got emotional. What?
He just opened up the box.
He didn't say nothing.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to highlight that.
I love how production called him out on it, though. So does Quiana have kids?
Yeah, she does. Her baby daddy, actually. So if you haven't liked this video already, you should go ahead and like it
and subscribe.
Because Quiana's baby daddy came out the woodwork. Apparently, she got 2 kids, I think. But her baby daddy came because he didn't even know she was filming the show with Damoderick. And so somebody told him, like, yo, your lady on TV, or your baby mama on TV, or whatever. But apparently, yeah, it's real confusing. But her baby daddy put on blast, and I think they were still messing with each other up until the time that she went on the show with Damoderick. Allegedly is my thought process.
Okay. Well, in the confessional, like I said, production asked him, why didn't he use the words, "Will you marry me?" He said because he feels more like, this is a promise that they will get married. And said
It's a promise ring.
he said he doesn't want her to go overboard and, start planning a wedding like tomorrow. First of all, you don't give a ring that was passed down from generation to generation
As a promise ring.
as a promise ring. Because
I
that means
agree.
now you have to give another ring for the
Ring.
engagement, a bigger and better ring. And really, that promise
That
ring don't mean nothing once you get that engagement ring. So and then to let her know that it was passed down through the generations. Of course, she's going to think it's an engagement.
Oh, he played in her face. But
Mm.
it's her problem because I would have been once he opened that box and he said, "Look at the ring," and I would have been excited, and then I'd be like, "Well, don't you want to say something?"
Don't you got something to ask me?
Right. I don't know what you thought this was. I'm cutesy demure. I don't accept no proposals that ain't been given. Let's move on to Alexis and Julius. I'm sorry, Ashley's still there. I apologize. So Julius has plans to go to the studio. He thinks he's about to be the next Jay-Z. Chicka, chicka, chicka. All right. So she asked him what's going on with the delivery job. And Julius says that he struggles to have a normal 9 to 5 because he just like fast money. Okay.
Ain't that how you ended up in jail in the first place?
Right. So Alexis lets him know that she's stressed trying to maintain all the bills, and girl, you look like it. So Julius says that
And girl, this is why you shouldn't have got pregnant.
right. And so Julius says that's why he's trying to work on his rap career because once it takes off, they'll be good. And nothing pisses me off more than people that think as somebody, and I say this respectfully, as somebody who wanted to sing and sing all my life, guess what I still had to do? To be in the studio and do everything that I wanted to do, have a job, a 9 to 5, to keep a roof over my, like, that's just so, but I understand he's young, whatever, right? So Julie said he was rapping before he went off to jail and thinks that if he gets enough attention on his streams, he can make millions. Um, And so Alexis says that she feels alone a lot in her confessional. And anytime they do have time for each other, he wants to be with his friends or at the studio.
Mm.
So she admits that she put an air tag on her car so she can track him. She calls her homegirl Maya to come over. And Maya asks, "Well, are you still feeling nauseous, girl?" And so she was like, "Well, when was your last period?" And she was like, "Well, it was before Julius came home." And so basically we find out a no. And so Alex, let's just skip to the point. I ain't got time. Maya come over, give it a pregnancy test. The girl pregnant. Okay. The girl pregnant. We know that already. Okay. So she tries to call Julius to share the news, but he's not answering. She talks about how he hides his phone, and she shares with Maya that there was another girl in the picture. And so Maya admits that, I do think Julius is cheating, and she tells her, you shouldn't accept anything. And Julius needs to man up or you need to leave. So Alexis then decides she wants to pop up at the studio on this man. And she then sees he's not at the studio, but he's at some store. And Alexis sees Julius with a few girls and they get out the car and she asks, "Well, who are these bitches?" NC. Thank you. I didn't feel like going down to get my clapboard.
Next up is Savannah and Bradley.
Now this I have to go off for.
So Bradley is still
look respectfully, like I tell my audience, respectfully.
Bradley is still on the run. But then after he got a call from his sister, he decided to go back to the house. He told this girl, get in the car because I guess he's working on this lawsuit. And she tells him, no, I feel like you're being controlling. And I don't know, that gave me Treese vibes right there. It was giving, I'm going to use your words on you. So apparently he plans on suing the DOC for harassment. So on the way there,
that's not gonna go nowhere.
Huh?
That's not gonna go nowhere.
No. So on the way there, he gets in her ass about how she was ready to call the police, and she's like, "This is my mom's vehicle, okay? And you caught a hissy fit. and took off in something that don't belong to you. So, he's like, you just have to have control over everything. So then they get there and met with Marva, the reform justice advocate. And he said that, he was filing the lawsuit due to excessive strip searches. Um, and he felt like they paid a little bit more attention to him. And she basically said, yeah, we need something where they violated your constitutional rights.
Right.
Like,
Right.
we don't really have a case.
I was gonna say it's their job to harass you.
It's giving, I can give you therapy, but I can't help you sue these people. Okay. Then she got into how they've been coping since he's been home, and they discussed the things that they've been arguing about. And Marva told Savannah to give him some time to adjust, and it may come off like you're being a warden to him.
What did you think about that? I so wanted to get your thoughts about the lawyer butting in and acting as a therapist. What were your thoughts?
I thought that she had points, and I thought that Savannah was pussy because if you felt some type of way about it, you should have said it to Marva. You waited till we got in the car to say it to Bradley. So if you felt some type of way about it, you should have addressed the person that was saying it.
Okay.
I mean, she's been getting. I wasn't gonna jump on her side. She's been getting on my nerves for the past few episodes, or since.
Oh no. I mean, she's definitely problematic.
Like all season.
Oh no. Yeah, we didn't want her. Take her back. Take her back.
So, it was quite clear that Savannah didn't like the comment. And she was like, is this a therapist or a lawsuit advisor? Because she has a lot of opinions. And like I said, I felt like, well, if that was your energy, you should have gave it when you was in there with her. The hell, what, you was scared she was gonna run your ass down? So then she told him that she's that he's reaching for answers from everybody else because he doesn't know what to do. He said, I'm definitely not reaching from anybody else. Okay. But this is what I'm talking about. You're so controlling that you feel like you have all the damn answers. And he told her that he's starting to feel suffocated and maybe they need some time apart. And she was like, okay, well, you do what you got to do. You ain't got to tell me twice. If you don't want to be around me, you ain't even got a bank card. So how you going to do it by yourself?
Mm-hmm. What I do for you.
And he said, this is exactly why I want space. Okay. Because you're being a bitch. All right. And she said, okay, if you want to go. She was like, I'll drop you off. And he said, I'm driving to my dad's house right now. This man pulled up to the house and jumped out the car and was like, bye. I said, oh, okay. Then when she was leaving, she got on the phone with his sister to let her know that she dropped his ass off at his dad's house. Because that's where he lives now. And then, she gets into complaining about him. And the sister was like, girl, you got to have some patience. And she said he's overwhelmed right now. And Savannah said, well, he needs to figure that out and how to manage that because that's not my problem. Then she called her out and said, it sounds like Bradley was the one that walked away.
Facts. Look, as I listen, facts.
Look, and literally walked away, jumped out the car and walked into his daddy's house and said bye. Savannah said, well, he didn't take his Xbox with him. So you know what that means. And his sister was
She's so childish.
It's toxic. She was like, yeah, I know what it means. It's toxic. That means she know he's going to be calling her. That's why she don't give a damn. Because
he might just be calling her to get an Xbox
back. Exactly. She don't give a damn. She don't care.
Women, where is our self-worth? Oh my God.
Savannah?
All right, let's jump into Joey and Michael. All right, my notes say. All right, my notes say. I hate to admit this. Nels was right. Michael lies to Joey about not passing the UA. However, he did and says he believes it's the first time he ever has. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. Michael really isn't looking forward to this meeting with Joey's family. He knows they're about to go in, but to put the blame on him for Joey's last little relapse. So he's greeted by the family, and he admits to Michael's dad that he's nervous. Joey's hopeful that Michael will be open to his family because they could be his future in-laws if he chooses. You're hoping for too much. So Michael says he knows he's supposed to get rid of old friends, but those friends he considers family. So Joey says he expected Michael to lie a little bit better to his family. Because yeah, Michael's just like, yeah, I know that my friends are former addicts and they got me in trouble before, and I probably shouldn't be around them and their triggers, but they're my friends and they're like family, and friends are the family you choose. And so, of course, Joey's family, being former addicts as well, um, realized that this could be dangerous to Joey, of course. And so Joey's brother, I didn't get his name, says that they've all been through recovery programs. And so him going through his recovery could be dangerous to Joey. Okay. And Michael's dad brings up the last time they almost lost him. His brother doesn't think Michael is ready for a long-term relationship and admits he thinks he's on the road to using again. And then Joey throws him under the bus and said that I already said that he's still in contact with all the friends. And basically his father asked him if he wants to live or die. And Michael says he's being respectful and it's falling on deaf ears because he's not giving up his friends. He's just not doing it. He said this meeting with Joey has pushed him further away rather than bringing them closer. And then he goes outside and calls one of his friends and tells them about how the meeting with Joey's family went. And Joey's mom says that, Joey's relationship reminds her of the one she had with his father and how she lost herself trying to please him. And she warns Joey not to lose himself and relapse again. And even the mom says she doesn't trust or believe Michael. And that's what I got for them too.
Next up is Brooklyn and Brian.
Ooh. What'd you think about Brooklyn?
She's aggravated me since I guess all season also. So we start off with a confessional from Ilani, Brooklyn's daughter, talking about how Brian helps her with her homework and he makes her smarter and she loves him. And maybe the world has just messed up my mind. And maybe, maybe I should be actually celebrating this, but it feels weird to me. And I don't like it, to be honest.
Okay. Respectfully. Okay.
Then his lazy ass found out that he got to get a job in 2 weeks. So now he got to look harder than he was. It's giving Julius. So then his homeboy, Adrian, came to pick him up, I guess, to take him to get some clothes for like, a job or like interview. And he has a 4-hour window. So Brooklyn wanted him to invite Adrian in, so she could vet him a little bit. He really wasn't with it. He said she don't need to wait. No, she gonna have to wait until they get back because they got things to do. So she decided to take her ass right outside, went up to Julian's window, and set some ground rules for him. And Adrian basically told her, whatever y'all got going on, leave that mess in the house with y'all. Okay, I ain't got nothing to do with it. And it rolled up his window on her.
What'd you think?
I thought it was disrespectful, but I also thought that he was right.
Right.
She had no business going out to him. You do that with your man. But I think he definitely could have handled it in a better way. And then also Brian, weirdo vibes, said nothing to his homeboy about it. So no, I felt like it was just all weird. So on the way to the store, his homeboy is talking about, you sure you want to be locked down? Because we in a BBL era. Okay. You fresh out. Okay. So, you might want to think twice. All right. Until you see what's out here. Okay.
Brooklyn's body ain't body.
And remember, he was the one with the big booty girl on his whatever picture or something he had
Mm-hmm.
on his iPad. And he really seemed to really be thinking about it for real. But then talking about Brooklyn is at this is all while Brooklyn's at home stressing about how she's coming off looking like a bitch when really she's just trying to make sure that he don't get locked back up. And his friend just has so many questions. Okay, these are the type of friends that I don't I don't want no man with these type of friends.
Okay.
So his friend just got a bunch of questions. You gonna marry this girl? Y'all gonna have kids? And I did kind of like the fact that he was like, "Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. I do plan to marry her. We do plan to have a family." Oh, then he's like, "Oh, well, you got to be home at 3. Well, I'm gonna take you to the strip club real quick and get you in some trouble."
Mm. And then
Like,
for me, it was like 6:30 when
no,
she
it was
called them.
2:30. 2:30.
Oh,
She called.
2:30, yeah, because he had to be in by 3.
She called at 2:34 to be exact.
And they talking about we gonna run it. Nobody runs in the strip club for 5 minutes. It takes you 5 minutes just to get cash out the ATM machine. Get the hell out of here. And then he talking about they was gonna order wings too. It was gonna take you 10 minutes to get them wings. You wouldn't have been home. Get it out of
I
here.
don't know how far he was from the house because, sir, it's not her making you be home at 3 o'clock. You risking your freedom over some BBLs, sir. Scroll through Instagram, okay, from home where you're safe. Stupid ass dudes is dumb.
Yes. And that's why she was like, I feel like I gotta keep tabs on him. And that's why I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna hold you. Maybe when I was in that young girl phase of my life, I might have subscribed to some bullshit like this. But as I'm older, pushing, knocking at 40's door, I would never. I would never. I'm not about to keep tabs on nobody. I could not be anybody house arrest. I couldn't do that.
Well,
To
even
make you be responsible for yourself, I am just no longer of that mindset.
no, ma'am, no, 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 no. This is a full-time job. Like, at least when your kids get older, yes, you still look after them, but they're independent. These are grown ass men, well, and women, but
Mhm.
even when they are locked up, it's still like having children.
Right.
There is no like, no, 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 no. It's not like
But
when they come home.
that's because they didn't look. Let me not get in mind because that's just because they didn't mentally develop. So it's stagnant. Everybody need therapy. So if you have thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of The Love That Happens After the Lockup. If you haven't already, please make sure that you've hit that like button.
Make sure you comment
Make sure you subscribe.
and you hit the notification bell.
Make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the TikTok, IG, Blue Sky, and the Facebook. And yeah, y'all, we will catch you. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit late because I'm gonna be gone. We'll catch you when we catch you, like sometime next week, Thursday, Friday. It'll be before hopefully the new episode come on. I try to give you that, but I ain't really gonna be back to Thursday, so I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't gonna make you no false promises. I ain't a liar up here. But we love y'all. We thank you. Thank you for being patient with us. I'm still wondering why it's on. Usually they done by this time. I thought we would be done. I thought this my PTO kicked in. Love after lockup. What
Probably,
happened?
probably soon. Probably soon.
Okay. But yeah, y'all. We love y'all. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Bye bye.